name is Kelly Voigt. It's Kelloyvoigt.
And you started?
We started Prevent the Bite Foundation.
Prevent the Bite Foundation, okay. Now, so Kelly, talk to me about how old were you, and what led to your the Bite Foundation?
Well, I was 7 years old when I was attacked by my neighbor's dog. And
how big was the dog?
It was a big dog, Siberian Husky.
And how big were you?
I was pretty small, 7 years old.
Okay.
Just a little kid, so...
and how bad was the attack?
I received about 100 stitches in my face and throat, and
wow.
suffered from post-traumatic stress disorder and depression. And it was just hard for me to get over it, and just the injuries were very bad. And
how long were you in the hospital?
Just a night. They just stitched me up and sent me home that night. But I think just the emotional issues took a little longer. And I just realized that I didn't want any other kids to get attacked like I did, so I just wanted to help them and do something about it.
All right, so now if we're going to put this tape up on the Just Awards website, and if other kids want to know about what to do so you don't get bitten by a dog, what do you tell them?
Well, one of our biggest things is wait. And that's what we tell kids to do when they see a dog on a leash with its owner that they think they might want to pet. And we tell them to follow the steps of wait. And the W stands for wait. You wait and see if the dog looks friendly. The A stands for ask. You ask the owner for permission to pet the dog. The I stands for invite. You curl up your hand in a fist, put it to your side, and let the dog come to you and sniff you first. And then the T stands for touch. You pet the dog on the back the way the fur grows. And that's probably the biggest thing that we say is just don't go near a dog without its owner or on a leash, and just do those steps, and it's going to help them.
Now, I've done a lot of projects, and you're breaking it down into a weight with initials, saying what to do is brilliant. And how long did it take you to come up with that, and how did you come up with it?
Well, we had a different acronym before, but then we changed it to make it our own. So, so it's just our own, and it's just the steps to help the kids know what to do, and it's just the letters that we put together are just perfect because wait, it's what you do too. So I mean, it just came all together, and it was just perfect for our program.
Who sat in the room when you sat around figuring out how we're going to do this? Is it your other kids or your mother and father? Who was sitting there saying, how are we going to do wait?
Well, it was my mom, and then we also started the program with a school therapist, Nancy Skeffington, and we all just put our heads together and we came up with ideas, and it was research, and so. All right, so
you're age 7, you get bitten, and when did you start your organization?
When I was 8 years old.
8 years old.
We started doing presentations, yeah.
Now tell me about the presentations. How scary was your first presentation?
Well, I was 8 years old going to my classrooms of my own students and kids my age. I was pretty nervous, but Nancy, who came in, we had a dog, a trained therapy dog coming with us too, so and we did the presentations, and it was kind of nerve-wracking, but I love doing them now. So.
Okay, now part of the reasons for doing this tape is that other students from across the country will watch this, and I keep reading in literature that if you take a poll, people would rather die than make a public speech. And what is your advice to them?
About talking in front of people?
Yeah.
Well, if you want to help kids, or if you want to help people, and I just think that it's worth doing it, and you get better once you keep doing it, and it's not as nerve-wracking once you keep doing it. It's just fun. It's a great feeling.
Okay, now you started out, you made a presentation in front of your classmates in your school, and when did you make your first presentation outside of the school?
When did I make my first?
And how did that go? How nervous were you for that?
I think it was probably like at a library with like adults too, and I was pretty nervous for that too.
And about how many people were in the audience?
Probably about 100 or so, or a little more. It was nerve-wracking, but you get over it once you start talking. It's the nerves.
Or how did you do it? Did you get all prepared, or you had a prepared speech? Did you have a written speech? Did you just you've done it enough, so you're just going to stand up and talk? What happened?
I think we've done it enough, and we know our program, and we just trusted it. So.
All right. Now, I assume you've done some sort of a radio show or a television show?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
And how was that the first time?
It was really nerve-wracking, actually, but...
Okay, talk to me about it. So tell me your first television performance.
I think it was I think NBC5 or
Okay.
one of them, and it was just an interview, and it went really smoothly, but it was just very nerve-wracking at first too, and but it's just, you get over it. Once you start, it gets a lot easier.
Okay, so what happened, what advice would you give people who are thinking of starting their own project about public speaking and being prepared to go on television and being prepared to go on radio? What would you say?
I think just, you have to trust yourself, and you know that you're just going to do well, and just don't think that you're going to make mistakes or else you will. So you just have to trust what you know and just go up there, and it gets easier once you start.
Now, if you were to make up a number, how many presentations, how old are you now?
I'm 17.
Okay, and how many presentations do you think you've made from age 8 to 17?
Oh, thousands.
Thousands?
Yeah,
Okay.
I don't.
And talk to me about, you've only done it in your backyard, is that true?
Presentations? No.
What have you done?
We have done classrooms, libraries, health fairs, assemblies, just
How many
big
states?
functions. A few states. We've been to Illinois, Wisconsin, Washington, D.C., New York. We've been there a few times. Just a few states, and we're just trying to spread it around even more.
And that's great. Okay, now, you start with an idea and you start in your class. Can we turn that off? Is that possible? Yes. Give me 5 minutes. Okay. When people start coming, then you turn that on. Is that the idea? Okay. So you start at age 8 and you start in your classroom. Now, I believe your project is national. How did it get to go national? And how are you going to tell kids to think big and think national? How did your project get to be national?
Well, we spread the word. We tried to spread the word and help get other people involved in our program. And we have the American Academy of Pediatrics.
And how did you get that? The American Academy of Pediatrics didn't just show up one day and say, I want to help you. What happened?
Well, my pediatrician, who is also one of our good friends, he really loves our program, and he's actually on our board now.
Great.
So he helped us get all of them and get involved with that. So he helped us get the American Academy of Pediatrics.
All right, so now here's your pediatrician who likes it. And is he part of a regional association of pediatric doctors? Or national? How do you think what happened?
I think he just sent it to all the pediatricians, and what they do is they bring our flyers and they teach their kids and give them the flyers on what to do and the proper steps, and they talked about it at their meetings, and they sent it to all 60,000 of their members.
All right, that's pretty good now. 60,000 members, and how many states?
I'm not sure how many states.
What do you think? All 50,000? All 50 states?
International.
International. All right, let's ask the question again. So now, you start in your classroom at age 8, and now you go to your pediatrician who likes it. And he goes and gets how many pediatricians involved?
They have 60,000 of their members.
And in the United States, all around the world?
It's international.
International. All right, now what else have you done to take your project and go national?
Our program is, we send it to all 37,000 U.S. post offices in the United States.
Okay, how did you get started on that? You just woke up one day and said, Mom, we're going to send this to 37,000 post offices. What happened?
Well, they asked me to be their national spokesperson, the U.S. Postal Service.
Why?
We sent all our information out everywhere, and they actually changed our information to mail carriers. They said mail carriers were their main focus, and they actually changed their focus to children because they learned that children are bitten more times.
But go slower now. You're sending out stuff, and did your local postman get excited, or you just sent stuff out to everybody, and suddenly somebody from the post office called you back? What happened?
I
could probably and then
go ahead.
Cut me out. But it was National Dog Bite Prevention. We found out that National Dog Bite Prevention.
Okay.
We found out that existed, and it was sponsored by the U.S. Postal Service and the American Veterinary Medical Association.
Okay.
So we just contacted them and sent them our information, and they decided they liked it.
Terrific.
So
okay.
Every year since 2004.
So now, you now start with your pediatrician, and you end up with 60,000 pediatricians all around the world. And now you run into National Dog Bite Week. And what happens with that? Who is sponsoring National Dog Bite Week?
Well, we found out that the U.S. Postal Service sponsored National Dog Bite Prevention Week, and we contacted them, and they contacted us.
And who contacted? Did you get on the phone with somebody? Who did you get on the phone with?
We contacted them about our program.
I know.
We told them
and
what
somebody
we do.
calls back.
Yep. And we emailed, and they emailed us back, and they wanted us to be their
And
national
they pick up the
spokesperson.
phone and they say, "Hi, Kelly. I want to be." What do they say?
They wanted me to be the national spokesperson for their National Dog Bite Prevention Week.
All right. So now, what do? You get on a plane and fly to Washington? Where do you go?
Yeah, they flew us out to Washington, and we spoke in front of a bunch of people. And
How many people?
Oh, there's like probably a couple hundred people there.
Okay.
And they broadcasted it, and they changed their focus to children being bitten more than male carriers. So.
All right. Now, so what is your advice to other students with an idea? Think small.
No, think big.
Why?
Always gotta think big.
What's easier, to think big or to think small?
You gotta think big.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right, now, talking about the stuff that you've done, do you think that you've learned any lessons which will help you 25 years from now?
Oh, for sure.
Like what?
Well, after starting these programs, it brings your attention to so many other different things that are going around the world, and that just people need to be doing more things, and that more things can be done. And I feel like if more people get involved with certain things, that it can make the world a better place. So.
What skills do you think you've learned by doing this?
Definitely, well, public speaking for one.
That's great.
And
how about teamwork?
Teamwork.
Talk to me about teamwork.
Well, we got a team together.
How'd you do that?
Helped. Well,
how do you put a team together?
We brought people that wanted to help us, that wanted to change something and help us out with our program, and we just stuck together, and it continued, and more people wanted to help. And it's just, if you get the word out and let people know, people will come to you, and they want to help you.
And do you get more help from classmates and peers, or more help from adults?
Probably more help from adults.
Okay.
Because when a kid comes up to them, they know that it's a big problem and they want to do something, and they want to help that little kid.
All right.
Or just any person.
Now, is it frightening for a teenager to ask an adult to help?
Yeah, it can be frightening, but you have to do it. If you want to change something, you have to stick with it and go after it.
Okay, and if you go up to an adult as a teen or a young person, for the most part, does the adult want to help you because a young person has come up and asked?
I think they do. They always want to help. They always, people, they do want to help. So, if you ask them, they truly do want to help.
Okay, now, biggest obstacle you had to overcome? What's the worst thing you faced that you had to overcome?
Probably just the struggle of getting the word out, and then, but once you do get it out, it spreads and spreads, but you just got to stick with it and never give up.
You know, I would be afraid, if someone came to me and said, why don't you start a national project, I would be scared. And I think your answer is you did it a step at a time, so talk to me about that.
Right, well, it started out in a small group with just a couple people, like 3 people working with us, and then we started our foundation, the Prevent the Bite Foundation, and we got people to help us, and we made a website, and then we got a board of directors, and we had a bunch of people on a board that helped us. So we just got more people involved with us, and then things started spreading more. And then we got the website, and then we got other people to help us from around the nation, and it just spread into different parts that just helped us keep each step at a time.
Okay, so I'll phrase the question and then you answer it back. So I think your experience is, if you have a powerful idea and you do it a step at a time, something which is doable, along comes your pediatrician that wants to help, and yet with the National Association of Pediatricians, and then as you're going, you find out this National Bite a Dog Week, and you contact them, and they contact you because your idea is powerful, and now all the post office is working with you. Is that true?
Right. Once you find out different information and you contact people, and if you're doing something that they're interested in, they're going to contact you back.
Thank you very much.
Thank
You're
you.
just terrific.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, and thank you too, Mom.
Thank you.
It's a family effort, I know.